Red light is on. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with the Dana White Contender Series breakdowns. I've been gone for a few weeks. I've not been taking them off at all. I've still been doing the work. Chico here joined me on this special morning edition of Aaron the Dog's breakdown show here for Dana White's Week 7 Contender Series breakdown. Good morning. I was supposed to do this yesterday. I was flying in from DC, and things just kind of happened. Was not able to get to the breakdown yesterday. So me and Lucky Locks will be back next week. Obviously, Lucky Locks still doing his breakdowns as well over on his channel. Definitely check those out, everybody. That dude's awesome. But happy to be here. Sorry, it's a little bit short notice or late notice, so I'm like pulling a Catherine Pepperocki here. But let's go ahead and jump in here with the breakdown and everything. Let me just grab a marker real quick because timestamps will be back. So one moment. All right. It's a little rusty getting back into the breakdown here, so apologies there. But we're here. We're getting ready. And let's go ahead and jump in to the breakdown here. So we are starting at, I'm just getting all situated here, but we are starting in the strawweight division, 115, Catherine Pepperocki, who I already mentioned a little bit here, LFA product, so always going to be a soft spot for me and others. But Catherine Pepperocki taking on Maria Silva. Maria Silva was supposed to be taking on Lupita Godinez's opponent last weekend, the Argentinian who got moved up. So now she gets the short notice replacement in Catherine Pepperocki, 3-1 opponent fighting out of Denver, Colorado. But we'll start with the Brazilian, Maria Silva, 5'3", 116 for her last fight, 25 years old. Fighting out of Fortaleza, Ceará, Brazil. Dragon Combat is her gym. Has not fought since November of 2019. So we've come into this quite a bit with Brazilian MMA in that, and I wasn't on the camp. Oh, hello, Thamaris. Good morning. How are you? Great to have you here. Thank you for being here, as always. Just kind of a last minute breakdown here this morning before I get my day started. Obviously, Brazil. Bunny, also a fan of Brazil. Maria Silva, the Brazilian, again, was supposed to face Silvana Gomez Juarez in this position, and then Juarez took the fight against Lupita. Lupita looked excellent, by the way, with the armbar finish and the performance of the night bonus, but had two finishes, one guillotine and one KO, both coming in the first round in 2019, relatively close together. Her guillotine choke finish was of Jane Aguirre, who was 6-0 at the time. She's now 6-2. She did lose a split decision as well. And then fought 0-0 Daniela Joffre in her next fight. Gabriella Hamro, also a fighter who she fought early on, who's gone on to have some good success. So while she hasn't faced the craziest level of the competition when she's faced them, definitely has aged a few of these wins to look pretty good for the level she's at. Debuted in 2013, so pretty crazy that she debuted when she was 17 or maybe just 18 years old, if that. So been around for a while, good finishing capabilities with the submissions and the striking. I do think in this fight with Catherine Pepperocki, she's going to want to go with keeping it on the feet against Pepperocki. Miz, good to see you, man. Sorry, doing the solo thing, so I'm going back and forth between Tapology and chat. So sorry, I'm not ignoring anybody, but Maria Silva looks very capable. Been off for a couple years. That's kind of typical for a lot of Brazilians. Weigh-ins, was able to watch yesterday. She looked really good at the weigh-ins, very ready for this, and no nonsense. Would not shake hands, no smiles, just dare to do business, as is Catherine Pepperocki. out of Denver, Colorado. As I said, 5'3", 65-inch reach. So about the same reach here. Similar builds, a little bit different in the way they go about their business. Catherine Pepperocki, much of a more overall MMA stylist. She likes to really mix it up. Has a few more decisions on her record. Not as many finishes, not as many fights though. So only 4 fights to 6. Did take on a hard-hitting Brazilian in her last fight in Tiani Valley, albeit she was 3-2 at the time, but a hard hitter. Took her into the 3rd round. Took some decent shots in that one. Was supposed to face Vanessa Demopoulos. Vanessa Demopoulos got signed with the UFC. Was supposed to face Hillary Rose. Hillary Rose missed weight and then got sick. So she's been trying to get back in there. Was supposed to be back in there with LFA again, now getting the shot. Her only loss coming to Emily Ducati. We've seen how she is. She's pretty solid. This is one that I know that I love my LFA, so I think that I'm wanting to give Pepperocki a little more of a chance than I should be here. Short notice, I think the skill and the experience is on the end of Silva here, but the price is too high for me. So from a betting perspective, I'm just going to kind of leave this one alone. Maria Silva is actually the biggest favorite on the card. I'm kind of surprised by this. The biggest favorite has lost on the Contender Series more than once. So I want to make that clear. Being the largest favorite does not mean that you win in the Contender Series or any aspect of MMA. But yeah, minus 350, way too much, plus 250. What I've been doing lately is I've been doing a little parlay with the over-unders for the fights. I actually believe while Silva's a pretty good finisher, I think Pepperocki's very tough, stretches this, and I think it goes to a decision. And I actually am going to lean Pepperocki ever so slightly. And I think Pepperocki by decision at plus 350 is a perfectly decent price, but you can get the plus 250 on her as is because of how the odds are. So I would just take her straight up or pass. Dog or pass for me, but it could be one where Maria comes out and really shows why she's the favorite. Again, I'm not betting it heavily, but I'm going to lean towards Pepperocki here to be able to mix it up, but short notice. And, but she has been fighting more recently. Next fight here is going to be at 155 between Chris. This is a really good fight. I'm very, very excited for this one. I've been waiting to see this guy. I'm a big fan of him. Chris Duncan taking on Slava Boriskov. Slava, I'm also a big fan of. I actually maybe a bigger fan of Slava than Chris. I like both these guys, and I think this is a really impressive Contender Series bout here, and a tough break for Chris Duncan, in my opinion, because he's going into a much more difficult matchup here against a slightly larger, longer opponent in Slava Boriskov, where before his fight before that, Chris Duncan looked to be pretty physically dominant over his opponent, I think, if it would have made it to the weight. But anyways, Slava Boriskov, 29 years old, 156 team alpha male product, 5'11", 72-inch reach. Very good size there. For, I believe, the striking coach at Team Alpha Male as well. So pulling a Rafael Fiziev and doing the striking coach and pro fight thing at the same time. Very not like most of the Russians that we break down. He's not a wrestler. He's a striker. 4-1. His loss coming to a guy that we've made some good money off in William Starks. That was by split decision also. So there's really no shame in that at all. I find it pretty impressive that he was able to take on a guy like Starks in his third fight. It was a really close fight. Since then, he's come back and rebounded with Titan FC in 2021 with 2 knockouts, albeit of not the best level of competition. Kenley St. Louis is okay, but both pretty impressive knockouts, a ground and pound finish prior to that. 3 of his 4 wins coming by KO, as well as the Ali Zebian win. This is a win that is going to age very well. He's now 7-2. He's going to be getting ready. Where is he? I thought he was getting – yeah, he just fought with Premier FC And I think he's getting ready to get a call up to one of the bigger organizations very soon. So that's definitely a good win on the resume for Slava. He's definitely tested himself early with William Starks. Kenley St. Louis is a decent guy. Chris Duncan, 7-0. 7-0 versus 3-1 or 4-1. I apologize. 5-10 for the Scottish-born, fighting out of Scotland, MXP Fitness on a 14-fight win streak, including amateurs. So this guy, he's tasted defeat one time. It was against a guy named Jack Pierce back in 2014. Since then, he's been on a run. The level of competition is okay. Not a lot of guys I am super familiar with, but in Bellator, both of his fights were against well-seasoned opponents. Furtado is a good striker. He knocked him out back in October of last year. Took on a 19-fight veteran, Matuis Pizcoris, in his other Bellator fight, knocked him out as well. He's finished all of his fights as a pro. They've been second-round finishes for 3 of them, 3 first-round finishes, or 4 first-round finishes. This one, I think it's just going to be a striker's affair. I think it's all about which range this fight gets fought at. I am leaning towards Slava Boriskov. I like how they looked at the weigh-ins. I thought that Chris Duncan looked like he was suffering a little bit from the 2 weight cuts in the 2 weeks because his opponent missed weight. Chris Duncan had already made weight. So that's 2 what looks like pretty decent-sized weight cuts for Chris Duncan, or he had to keep himself closer to his fight weight for a longer amount of time. Slava came in, looked like he made weight very comfortably, looked to have a decent reach advantage here, and I believe that Slava has the striking to win this fight. His fight against William Starks, he did lose. Involved a lot of mixing up the grappling, and I just don't see Chris Duncan going to that. I think this will kind of be a slugfest, though, or not a slugfest if Slava wins. I think it's a slugfest if Duncan wins, and I think if Duncan gets it to the range he wants, he has a good chance of potentially finishing Slava, but I like Slava by decision here. He is the slight dog at plus 110, and I have bet him. I bet him when he was plus 130. The money continues to come in on Slava. I think this will be close to a pick 'em by fight night, by tonight, I should say. But I'm going to lean towards, and I am betting this underdog in Slava Boriskov. So I'll take him, and I'll take him by decision. So I like the over 2.5 in my first 2 fights of the night, actually. So if you're doing the over-under parlay with me, that I've hit in 4 weeks now, that's what I'm at so far. Next fight involves one of our weight misses here in Jake Hadley taking on Boston Mitch Raposo, making his return from tough, I guess you could say. I don't know. I really liked Mitch Raposo. I thought he got a tough break on tough for sure. He was the first pick, though, so there was a lot seen in him. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. I've been waiting to see Jake Hadley get over here to the States. Unfortunately, he missed weight. Missed weight by a full pound. Tried to make weight on the second. Missed weight by a pound and a half, actually. Tried to make weight on the second attempt. Only lost half a pound. He looked pretty dejected and sucked out, which is not exactly what you want to see out of one of the bigger favorites on the card. But I'll be breaking down Boston Mitch first, who fought at bantamweight on the Contender Series and now is making 125 no problem, 5'5". Mitch Raposo is 22 years old, fighting out Falls River, Massachusetts. Regiment Training Center is where he fights out of. He fought against Ludovic Shaolin on the Ultimate Fighter and lost the decision. It was a good fight. The wrestling and the cage pressure of Ludovic was just a little bit too much to handle. But, either way, that was at bantamweight. Mitch has fought, prior to this. He was fighting catchweight fights at 130. He has fought at bantamweight before and also at, the catchweight. So this is his first time making the bantamweight division, or the flyweight division, however. So once I saw him make weight, I was pretty happy with what I saw. He looked to make weight pretty comfortably. He looked strong. He looked thick. And Jake did not look strong on the scales. Fighting out of Birmingham, England, 7-0 for White Kong, weighing at 127.5. As I said, the first time before weighing at 127 with Cage Warriors, he was able to make the 125 championship weight. He was a flyweight champ over there. He's fought with Bellator, and where he, again, made the weight no problem. But again, it was over in, I believe it was over in Dublin. So this is his States debut here. He misses weight for the first time in his career with his United States debut. So Jake Hadley coming into this fight was who I really liked. I thought that on the ground, very close, on the feet, should be pretty wide margin for Mr. Hadley. Has really good level of experience taking on Luke Shanks, taking on Shadul Haq, both 10-4, 7-1. Blaine O'Driscoll, a 7-2, very experienced fighter as well. 11-2, Nakimo Mulo Zulu. Really on a good level of competition since his first 3 fights. Faced a lot of veterans, stayed active with 2 fights in 2019, 2 fights in 2020. And this being his first fight in 2021 is a little bit surprising for me. He was supposed to face Clayton Rodriguez originally. I do think this is a little bit less dangerous of an opponent, but I think Raposo looked really good on the scales. Going into this one before the weigh-ins, I was all over Hadley. I still have Hadley, but not betting him too heavily, especially at the minus 325 price tag, and not knowing how the travel, the weight, COVID protocols, all that is affecting him in this fight. Mitch has experience in the Apex. He did lose, but, I mean, it wasn't a loss where he got embarrassed or dominated at all, really. I mean, he just was outperformed by a guy who's now been signed with the UFC. So Jake Hadley should get this one, but I'm much less confident after weigh-ins than I was before, and now Hadley's going to have to win 2 to get a contract. So that's too bad for him for sure. Going to the odds really quickly, if I didn't mention Chris Duncan minus 150 plus 115 on Slava Boriskov, and then this fight between Hadley and Raposo. Hadley minus 325 still, plus 230. A little bit of money's come in on Raposo since the weight miss. I get it. This is another one that, for me, I am going to, with the over-under, I'm going to take the under in this one. I do think that whichever guy wins, I think there's a chance Hadley wilts in the later rounds is not, and Raposo's able to take advantage of it, or Hadley realizes the gas isn't there and tries to look for a little bit earlier of a finish. So I will take Jake Hadley. A little less confident here, and he is aware he's going to have to win at least 2 fights here, but I'm going to take Hadley here. Props to Raposo for making weight. Next fight is at heavyweight. Here it's between This is the weirdest fight I think I've seen this season. Although there's been a couple weird heavyweight fights, but Lorenzo Hood taking on Martin Buday at heavyweight. This is the biggest favorite on the card. Martin Buday out of Slovak Republic, Slovakia, weighed in at 264.5, 6'3", 8-1 for Beatty's Martin Buday. I've been able to go back and see a few of this guy's fights. On a 7-fight win streak currently for the 29-year-old. Has faced some decent level of competition, beat a 7-1 opponent, Camille Minda, in his last fight with Octagon, Canadian organization. Fought his last 3 with Octagon, actually. This is not the Canadian Octagon. I apologize. This is the Czech Republic. He is got another guy making his United States debut here. So definitely a little bit of an X factor. I mean, he weighed in right at the 264.5 limit. Has finished all of his wins. His only loss coming to Juan Espino in his second fight ever in 2017. He's been pretty active in 2018, 2019. Took 2020 off, but then 2021, back in June, he ended up taking that fight and winning it. Second round. Has several second round finishes, has first round finishes, all of them coming by punches or injury, except for a Kimura finish of a 5-3 Daniel Dietrich. He was supposed to take on a much tougher 6-0 Hugo Kuna. Kuna withdrew. Lorenzo Hood is who he gets now. 12-4 Lorenzo Hood. I mean, the guy is definitely a fighter through and through. The dream killer, 32 years old, on a 3-fight win streak, albeit those 3 coming against not the best level of competition. 4-17 Ron Carter in 2018, a 2-8 Jordan Stufferzer in 2021, and then a 1-10 Jake Zog. He was supposed to take on Lukas Brzezinski, who we saw a few weeks ago. Hood withdrew from that, and they're giving him another Contender Series bout for some reason. He lost to Tyler King, which we've seen Tyler King get pretty handled over in Bellator. No contest with Alan Crowder. A loss to Sheldon Graves by finish. Curtis Blades was his first loss. He faced Curtis Blades in Curtis Blades' debut. Curtis Blades knocked him out in minute 40. Mario Miranda. So some very familiar names, not a lot of familiar wins, though. I think that Crowder or Hood was being brought in here to be sacrificed to Brzezinski. Now he's being sacrificed to Boudet. It seems the Contender Series is interested in getting some Eastern European heavyweights involved in the mix, and they're going to get another one in Boudet. I do have the under 1.5. They said at 1.5. I took the under in this one for this. I do have Boudet. I have Boudet by finish. It's nearly unbettable, though. Boudet is a -650 now. I got him at -325, so it's parlayable. Inside the distance is -375. That's less than I paid for the money line. Yeah, and under 1.5 is -240. This is nearly unbettable here, but I'm going to take the under for my parlay. So, and I'll go over all of that here in one moment. We're to the main event. Thank you to anybody who's joining me this morning. Sorry, it was a little more disheveled than usual. Just getting back into the rhythm of being home. I've been away from home for essentially 3 weeks. Did a few on the road with Bunny. And we will be back, by the way, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern for the UFC Breakdown Show. Aaron the Dog and Bunny, Boston Comments, will be here with potentially a special guest or two. Brian still, doing the father duties, so he will return soon. But in the meantime, Dog and Bunny show. Miz, you already know what's up. Love you, dude. Glad you're here. But with that being said, I'll get into the main event here. This is between Junior Cortez, and yes, that is Junior Cortez of the Tracy Cortez family, taking on Christian Rodriguez. Christian Rodriguez, the other guy to miss weight, unfortunately. So 2 of my favorites before weigh-ins were Christian Rodriguez and Jake Hadley. And so to see those guys be the ones to miss weight, it's unfortunate on multiple accounts. For one, missing weight, never like to see it. And me, kind of gives me some wonders about how the weight cut was and everything, obviously. And then also it prevents them from getting a contract. So I guess we get another chance at them if they win, but if they lose, it really could send them back. Christian Rodriguez, I'll be breaking down first. 5-0 on a 7-fight win streak, including amateur, Rufus Sport representative, 23 years old, 5'7", good size. Weighed in at 100 and I believe 138 pounds. So missed by 2 pounds. Definitely not what you like to see. Prior to this, fought in March of 2021. Took on Gregoro, who at bantamweight with CFFC looked tremendous in that fight before getting the third round finish. Roy was a tricky opponent. Looked good against John Pham with LFA. Had 2 fights with LFA. Looked good in. Finished his first opponent with knees to ground and pound. Second opponent with a rear naked choke. Last fight, a third round KO. 5 finishes in 5 fights. Has faced a decent level of competition. Was supposed to take on Jarrell Hodge with CFFC. Jarrell Hodge had to withdraw, I think, due to a hard weight cut. Monkey car. What does monkey car mean, Josh Holland? Am I missing out on something? And hey, what up? What up, Bunny? Have a great day at work. And yeah, I got the legends here. You know, it means a lot that anybody. I just kind of decided to do this like last second. Also, I didn't know advertising, so you know, it felt wrong missing another week of the Contender Series. I wanted to help other people out, but good morning, Bunny. Have a great day at work, helping people and being a hero. But going over to Junior Cortez, this is Tracy Cortez's brother, as I said. I believe older brother. Definitely think that played a little bit of a factor in him getting this opportunity. I don't want to be disrespectful ever, but yo, it's the Bunster and Joshua. I love you, Miz. You are the Bunster. I love that. I've never even said that. That is brilliant. But Miz, you're awesome, man. Shout out to you. And I don't get what monkey car means, Joshua, but Junior Reyes Cortez out of MMA Lab, 5-1 on a 2-fight win streak. Again, trains with MMA Lab, so very good camp there with the likes of Benson Henderson and many, many others. 2-fight win streak coming to a 3-0 Axel Osuna with Combate Global. Went back and watched that fight. It was a good fight. Junior Cortez looked to kind of handle and manage where the fight went very nicely. Chuck Maddie, a 6-10 opponent, knocked him out in June. Lost a split decision to a 3-4 Justin Hughes. So, and other than that, 0-1, 0-1, and 0-0. Did get finishes in 4 or 5 again. So we've got 2 very good finishers, albeit Junior Cortez is the Midster. JK13 is here as well. What's up, sir? Look at everybody popping in here. Short notice in the morning. Y'all are savages. Shout out. Hope everybody had a great weekend, even though it's Tuesday. It feels like a Monday. But Junior Cortez, pretty much a striker. In his last fight, it was good to see the decision and come out on the positive end. I was able to go back and watch his LFA fight as well with Justin Hughes. It was a very close fight, and for me, Christian Rodriguez was where I was leaning very, very early on after I watched the tape, and I'm still leaning that way, even with the weight cut miss. I'm not crazy about it, and it does mean, again, Christian's going to have to make a couple appearances here on the Contender Series, but I don't think that will hurt necessarily, especially considering he's only 5-0. I really do feel that Reyes Cortez, Junior Cortez, whichever you want to go by, I'll know tonight more. I do think he's here more with that last name a little bit in consideration. I do like Christian Rodriguez as a parlay piece at -205. It's pretty hard for me not to go with this one going under 2.5. So I am going to take the under 2.5. It's -130. So if you're following me on my over-under parlay, 5-piece parlay, I actually already have it done, so I can pull it up here and get you the live odds on that. But, I have for the fights starting at the beginning, Maria Silva and Catherine Pepperocki. Actually, I'm going to write this down. Sorry. Maria Silva and Catherine Pepperocki. I have that going over. I have that going over the 2.5. Sorry, I have that going over the 2.5 rounds. I have Jake Hadley and Mitch Raposo. I have Chris Duncan and Slava Boriskov over 2.5 rounds. I have Jake Hadley and Mitch Raposo under 2.5 rounds. That's my underdog one on the parlay. Bude and Hood definitely under 2.5 rounds. And then I have the main event, Christian Rodriguez and Reyes Cortez, under 2.5 rounds. That gives me a parlay of plus 1549. And yeah, shout out to Boston Mitch making his flyweight debut tonight, and he looked great on the scales. Meanwhile, his opponent, who was the flyweight champion, missed weight. So big dog Mitch here, the second biggest dog on the card. Go Mitch. I'm rooting for him. And thank you for the encouragement. I was struggling a little bit at the end. Now to quick picks, and then I'm going to wish you guys a good day and get started with mine as well. So really quick, gonna go back to the card here. To start off the night, we got Catherine Pepperocki versus Maria Silva. I'm letting my LFA allegiance hang here. I'm going Catherine Pepperocki by decision. I think she's gonna mix it up just enough. Chris Duncan versus Slava Boriskov. I have the underdog again in Slava Boriskov. And I have him winning this by decision. I think it's going to be a striker's delight, and Slava fights it at his distance and his pace a little bit better here. Gives Chris Duncan his first loss in 15 fights. Jake Hadley, Mitch Raposo. Mitch is a super live dog. He looked excellent on the scales. I think if he can crowd and push the pace here, he can possibly finish Jake. I am going to pick Jake for my official pick, though. No disrespect, Boston, at all. The co-main event here, Lorenzo Hood versus very correct. Lorenzo Hood versus Martin Boudet. Lorenzo Hood was being brought in here to be finished by somebody, and it is Martin Boudet. So Martin Boudet gets the finish, I think, in round 1, KO. Lorenzo Hood is a wild man, but not the best fighter in the world. Junior Cortez or Reyes Cortez taking on Christian Rodriguez. I have Christian Rodriguez. That is going to do it for the quick picks section. I agree, Miz. You better be careful, Bunny. You're going to get blocked by Brandon's girlfriend again for platonically talking to him about fights, which what girlfriend would not be threatened by that? Pretty much anyone. But anyways, that's for another podcast. Hope everybody has a great day here. Sorry, the voice is a little bit raspy. Long weekend in New York City, Brooklyn to be specific. But I'm sure you aren't. If you're worried about that, I'm worried about you. Miz, as of course, sir. The content is always here. Again, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday night. This one right here, damn it. You think I know how to point at this point. This one right here, Boston Comments, Bunny, will be joining me on the Breakdown Show. We're breaking down this weekend's UFC card. I'm sick of hearing the nonsense that this weekend's UFC card is not good. I don't know. I'm not familiar with these UFC cards that aren't good, especially when it's before they've been fought, because I don't care about paper. I care about the actual fights. So we'll be back breaking it all down. Bunny killed it this past weekend, going 7 of 9 on her picks. You're making money if you're listening to us. Straight up, we both nailed Marina Rodriguez in the main event, and there might be a special guest or two coming on the card. Absolutely sick of hearing any card not being good. But join the MMA Church of Bunny and Aaron the Dog tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, as we break down Norma Dumont versus Aspen Ladd at 145. Weird move by the UFC to reward missed weight with a main event, but whatever. UFC kind of, does things that don't make sense like every FC does. So hope everybody has a great day. Happy Tuesday out there. Enjoy the fights tonight. We got Contender Series fights in 11 hours, 10 and a half hours actually. So get those bets into plus 1549 over under parlay. Go ahead and take a dip in it. I've hit it 4 of 6 weeks so far. So just make a wager on it. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at Wednesday for the UFC Breakdown Show. I also will be doing the Bellator Breakdown Show tomorrow with Norton MMA. So tune into that as well. Double Breakdown Wednesday ensues tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody, and enjoy the fights tonight. Peace out. Shout out to Justin Tucker for giving me 3 points when I needed 2. So thank you, Justin Tucker, for making me sweat last night. Peace.